WhyGuru, WhyGuru. WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru,
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you everyone for coming. Just before we start, just a bit of a Gurdwara announcement. Don't worry, we're not going to ask you for money. There's a bit of lost property. There's a metal mala that someone dropped here at the front. I've just put it on that brown stand over there. So if you're missing a metal mala, feel free to go up and get it. And we'll all judge you while you walk up there. So we're going through the Ardaas bit by bit, week by week, and today is Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And Maharaj's life is very eventful, right from a young age all the way to the end. So much happened in Maharaj's life. So we've got loads to get through today. So before we begin, we're actually going to start with the Dohara from Maharaj's Bani. It's called Slok Mala Nava. So if you know the words, please do join in. Dohara bal chutkiyo bandhan pare kachu na ho to paaye kaho nanak ab ot har gaj jo ho sahaye bal hua bandhan chute sab khich hot upaye नानक सब किच तुम्हारे हाथ में तुम ही होत सहाय संग सखा सब तज गए को न निभियो साथ कहु नानक एह बिपत में टेक एक रघुनाथ नाम रहियो साधु रहियो गुरु गोविंद कहु नानक ए जगत में किन जपियो गुरमंत राम नाम और मैं गयो जाके सम नहीं कोय जेह सिमरत संकट मिटै दरस तुहारो होय राम नाम और मैं गयो जाके सम नहीं कोय जेह सिमरत संकट मिटै दरस तुहारो होय वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह. Okay, Sangat-ji, so we've now got to the bit in the Ardaas where Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they say, Tegh Bahadur Simriye Kar no nid ave tae. Saying that if we do Simran, if we remember Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, then we get this no nid, these 9 treasures. So we're going to go through the 9 treasures now to start with. And we're going to start with something called Borosa. Does anyone know what Borosa means? And he gets it. Hanji at the back. Let's see if you're right. Yes. Deep faith in the one. Yes, you're absolutely right. Next one is Linta. I had never heard of this one before. What does linta mean? Anyone? Okay, this one was a bit tricky. This one is attachment to the one. Okay, then you've got santok. Santok, anyone? Nice and easy, Hanji. Yes, contentment, spot on. Next one is tyagna. Tyagna. What does it mean to tyag something? Tyagna. Any guesses? Hanji at the back. Yes, detachment. So detachment from worldly possessions, from people. Hukum. Don't know where hukum is. Hanji, hukum. Okay, go on at the back. We've got star people here. Hanji? Yes. The acceptance of the will of the one. Yeah, the order of the one, definitely. Sehaj. Before we go to our star pupil at the back, anyone? Anyone know what sehaj means? No? Star pupil? Ooh, not simplicity. It's calm and peaceful. Sehaj. Yeah, it's like take your time. Anand. Come on, everyone should know what Anand is. What does Anand mean? All right, star pupil. Yeah, bliss. Okay, this one is interesting. Vismad. What's a vismad then? Vismad comes up in Bani, this word. Okay, so this is complete ecstasy, right? You're in so much bliss, you completely forget about yourself. And then we got one more, which is nadar. Nadar comes up in Gurbani. What does nadar mean, Hanji? Ooh. Yeah, I'll give you that. So nadar it's like another way of seeing, right? So it's the way of seeing the one as the giver of all our blessings, right? So that's what nadar means. So what Guru Gobind Singh Ji is saying here is Tegh Bahadur Simriye Kar, our home, this body of ours, will obtain these 9 treasures. Why? Because Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is the one. Guruji is the one, right? So the more we meditate on the one, the more we meditate on Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, on any of our gurus, the more we get closer to the one, the more purified we become, and the more we get things like contentment, right? A lot of us today, we suffer with this sort of rat race mentality where it's got to be the next best thing, and we've got to get this now. We get this, and now we've got to get this. We suffer a lot with a lack of a lack of contentment. So what Maharaj is saying here is if you want these things, then meditation is the answer. Whether you're singing, whether you're reading Gurbani, listening to it, it's always meditation. Tegh Bahadur Simriye, kar nau nid aave tai. So we'll begin with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's Prakash. Remember, Prakash means when they were revealed. Okay, so we don't say when they were born, we say when they were Prakash. So they were Prakash in 1621 in a place called Gurmukhi Mahal in Amritsar Sahib. Their parents were our 6th Guru, Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji and Mata Nanaki Ji. And they had 5 siblings. So an easy way to remember this is our 6th Guru had 6 children. Right? So the children were Baba Gurditta Ji, Atal Rai, Ani Rai, Surajmal, and then Bibi Viro Ji and Tegh Bahadur. So they were actually called Tegh Bahadur at birth. Now we're going to skip a little bit forward now in Maharaj's life. There comes a point in time where Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is actually in a jail. They're in a jail in Delhi, and something really amazing happens in this jail. They start sending letters to the Sikhs in Sri Anandpur Sahib, right? To their son Guru Gobind Rai Ji and to the other Sikhs. They start sending letters. Now these letters form a certain bani, a certain prayer within Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Does anyone know what that prayer? Hanji? Yeah, Slok Malanava. Just out of interest, can I have a show of hands? I'm not going to pick on anyone, but has anyone here read Slok Malanava? Anyone? Hands nice and high? No elbows? All right, majority. Really cool. Okay, good. Now, I want you guys to think of your grandparents or someone of an older age. Right? I want you to imagine what they're like in terms of their nature. And I know my grandparents, it was like they got to a certain age where they'd seen everything in life. They got a lot of life experience. They know how people work. They'd seen it all before. Right? And they tend to be quite wise, generally speaking, right? So when our grandparents speak to us and they give us wisdom, certainly was the case for my grandparents, they say it straight, right? There's no beating around the bush, right? They just say it straight. If you put on weight, they'll be like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, well, stop eating, right? Or if you got too skinny, then they'll just tell you straight. And in the same way, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is our father, right? They're all of our father. So that means Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji's father, is our grandfather. So in the same way, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, like a grandfather, especially in Salok Malanava, they say it straight. They don't beat around the bush. They're not being rude. Obviously, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying they give us the truth straight. And one example of that is Guru here talks about possessions, right? And they say, Tanadara Sampata Sagala, Jina Apani Karman. So everything you think you own, this is what Guruji is saying, everything you think you own, your spouse, might be your money, right? Cars, properties, all these things we say are mine, right? Maharaj is talking about that. So that's the first line. Then they say, Iname Gacha Sangi Nahi, Nanaka Sachi Jan. They say none of these are going to go with you, right? So it's a bit of a build-up, yep, all my possessions, and they say, bang, none of it's going to go with you, right? So again, they're saying it straight. So we kind of focus so much on all of these things. So for example, if we fast forward, let's just say 100 years, right? Majority of us, certainly me, we're not going to be alive in 100 years' time, right? So all of these things we focus on, whether it be, it could be money, it could be our houses. Someone else in 100 years' time is going to live in our house, right? Maybe our cars that we take so much pride in, right? Our cars in 100 years' time are going to be scrap. Same with our clothes. They're not going to look as cool. Definitely not going to look as cool in 100 years' time, right? So Maharaj is just saying it straight. That all these things that we think belong to us, they're actually not that important. And they actually show us this teaching. When Maharaj is 4 years old, their elder brother, Baba Gurditta Ji, is getting married. And at 4 years old, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they're at the wedding, and as you can imagine, in a wedding, everyone's focusing on the bride and groom, right? They got everyone's focus. So everyone's looking this way at the bride and groom. The only person looking in the other direction is a young 4-year-old Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They cannot believe what they're seeing. It shocked them that much, they don't care what's going on in the wedding anymore. What they see is a beggar. This beggar is so poor, they're a child. They're so poor, they don't even have a bit of cloth to cover themselves. They're wearing no clothes whatsoever. Young Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they walk over to this beggar and they say, "Where are your clothes?" And the child says, "Do you think someone wanders the streets like this out of choice? I.e., do you really think I own any clothes?" Right? Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji goes on to find out that this beggar doesn't even have money for food, a little bit of food, let alone clothes. So what do? 4 years old Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they let go of their own possessions. They start taking off their own clothes. Remember, this is a prince. Right? Guru Har Rai Ji is the king, and this is their son, the prince. So they got the finest clothes. They're taking them all off. Right? They don't mind if they haven't got any clothes, but they cannot bear to see this child. It's said that this child, their feet are all cracked and bleeding. They've got no shoes. They're saying when they walked over to the child, the teeth were chattering because it was so cold at that time. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, not only do they give all of their clothes to this child, but they give all of their jewelry as well. All these necklaces, all these jewels. And they say, go, sell this, feed yourself and your family. So that was the nature of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. So one of the Nid was Tyagna, and they were given the nickname Tyag Mal, meaning that they were completely detached. They had all of these things, but they weren't attached to these things. They easily let them go. Now, there came a time in Guruji's life when their older brother, Baba Atal Rai Ji, they were 8 years old, and they're playing bat and ball with their friends. Now what happens is Baba Atal Rai, they're bowling the whole day, and their friend is batting. Then when it gets to Baba Atal Rai Ji's turn, the sun sets, and he says, okay, tomorrow I'm going to bat all day, and you're going to bowl. So they make this deal. And the kids go home, they rest, come back to the playground the next day, and he's looking for his friend. He's waiting there with a bat and ball, and he's thinking, where's my friend gone? He asks the other guys, and another friend says that your friend got bitten by a snake at night. Got bitten by a snake, and he's dead now. Baba Atal Rai goes to the house of this child, And he sees the whole family holding the body of this child. They're all crying. The child is actually dead. Baba Atal Rai, he's got his bat in his hand, right? Remember, he's the son of the Guru. So he has powers. With his bat, he starts to prod the boy's body. He speaks to the family. He says he's not dead. He just doesn't want to bowl. He knows it's my turn to bowl. He knows it's his turn to bowl and it's my turn to bat. He just doesn't want to bowl. He's lying, guys. And as he gets his bat and he prods the child's body, the child opens their eyes. They come back to life. Right? Baba Atal Rai Ji, at 8 years old, brought a child back to life. Sounds cool, right? Then their father finds out, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, who's very disappointed in their son. Why would Guruji be disappointed with their son for bringing someone back to life? Why is that a bad thing? There's 2 reasons. Any guesses? Why is it a bad thing to bring someone back to life? Hanji, Fadi. Yes, because it's against hukum. So it was God's will that that child was only meant to live for that amount of time. So they've gone against God's will. And the second reason is that Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji said that if we do this, everyone's going to come to the house of Guru Nanak with loads of dead bodies, just to say, my relative has died, bring them back to life. You done it for them, why aren't you doing it for me, right? So it causes a lot of issues then. So they're going against hukum. So now Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji is in a bit of a difficult position, because he tells his 8-year-old son, Baba Atal Rai Ji, that someone's going to have to give their life now. You brought a life back, it's going to cost a life to put everything back into balance. So Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, they say, either I'm going to give my life, or Baba Atal Rai Ji, you've got to give your life. Imagine. At 8 years old, Baba Atal Rai Ji says, I'll give my life. Don't worry, you stay alive, you're the Guru, I'll give my life, it was my mistake. Baba Atal Rai, they actually go to Sri Harmandir Sahib. They sit at Harmandir Sahib and they do a Japji Sahib. After their Japji Sahib finishes, they actually leave their body at 8 years old. Right, so Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is even younger. He's seeing all of this. And now in Slok Malanava, they say, Ram Gayo, Ravan Gayo, Jako Bahu Paravar. So Ram, Ravan, right? These 2 people had so massive, their families were huge. So many relatives they had, right? They said they've all gone. Even though their families were so big, everyone's going to go. They say, Kaho Nanak, Thira Kach Nahi, Supane Jo Sansar, that nothing is permanent. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji saying. Right? And this all links to periods of their life. They've seen death at such a young age. They've seen people without possessions. So this is all coming up in their Bani now, Sloka Malanava. So after a few years, Guruji's 12 years old. 12 years old, they get married to Mata Gujari Ji. And at 13, they fight their first battle, right, with in the army of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Now, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji seeing their 13-year-old son in the battle. Imagine, for those of you that are parents, seeing your young child in a battle. You got rifles going off, swords being swung, people screaming, people dying, right? A lot of people will be worried. But Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, they're not worried. They're not attached to their son. They know why they called their son Tegh Bahadur. They said, look at him. The way he's moving, the way they're doing their pantara. Pantara is footwork on the battlefield. Right? They said, look at the way they're swinging their sword. Everywhere Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is moving, no one can get close to him. If anyone does get close to him, dead, straight away. They're just leaving this sea of body in the battlefield as they're moving through, completely fearless. And again, in Slok Malanava, Maharaj says, Janama Janama Paramata Firyo, Mitiyona Jam Kotras, that we've actually been alive for many, many lifetimes. Right? You know, we're part of this reincarnation cycle, Jorasi Lakajun, these 8.4 million lives. Maharaj is saying, we've been alive so many times and we've died so many times, but we're still scared of death. Right? If I ask you guys to think honestly, if I say to myself, how do I feel about death? I'm very scared. I don't know what happens after that. So this fear hasn't gone, Maharaj is saying. But they say, Kaho Nanak Harapajmana. So Kaho Nanak. This is the light of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, just in a different body. So Kaho Nanak Harapajmana. That meditate on Har. It all comes back down to Naam. And then what happens when we meditate? Nirapaya, Pavahe, Bhasa. That will become Nirapal. Like we say in Mool Mantra, will become fearless as well. We won't fear that time of death. Why? Because of meditation. It all comes back to Nam. Okay, so now there comes a point in time where Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, the sixth Guru, they leave their body. They become Jyoti Jyot. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they leave for a place called Bakala. Bakala is where Mata Nanaki, their mother, is from. So it's not too far away from Amritsar Sahib, right? You're talking about, in a car on that road, about 45 minutes. Obviously they didn't have cars back then, yeah? So they're in Bakala. And at that time, the Guruship passes from Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji to their grandson, Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. Right? Whilst all this is going on, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is over in Bakala. They spend about 27 years here with their wife, with their mother. And they spend the majority of that time just meditating. Right? So they're not only just telling us to meditate, they've meditated themselves, right? So they're living this Sikhi that they're teaching us. And what happened was, after Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, like we learned last week, the Guruship moved to Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji. Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji, they said, Babe Bakala, that the next Guru is in Bakala. So what happens? Everyone goes to Bakala. Half the people going to Bakala are going to look for the Guru. The other half, they're all going to pretend to be the Guru. Right? Everyone's saying now, I'm in Bakala, I'm the Guru. I'm the Guru everyone's looking for. So there's a lot of commotion, a lot of sort of fighting, a lot of tension in Bakala at this time. Whilst all this is going on, someone called Makkhan Shah Lubana. Makkhan Shah Lubana is a very famous, very wealthy merchant. He's on a ship sailing in the middle of the ocean, and his ship hits an island. Right? It gets moored on an island. The ship is going to start to sink. Makkhan Shah Lubana does an Ardaas. Not only do they do an Ardaas, they make all the sailors of the ship do an Ardaas as well, all together. All of them do an Ardaas to the seat of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They don't know who the Guru is, but they're saying, whoever's on the seat of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, we really need you to help us now. Our ship is stuck, we're going to sink. And if you help us, I'll give you 10% of all the goods on that boat. It worked out to about 500 coins, right? That's just 10% of what's on the boat. So that's a lot back then. So all the sailors, including Makkhan Shah, they do this Ardaas, and there's a massive bang. The boat rocks and it starts moving away from the island, and they get put back in the direction that they need to go. Now Makkhan Shah, they get back on land and they're looking for the Guru now. They realize that Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji says that Babe Bakala, that somewhere in Bakala is the Guru, the next Guru. So he goes through Bakala. He's meeting all these people saying that they're the Guru. And he meets someone called Tirmal. Tirmal is the brother of Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. And Tirmal has a very strong claim to the Guruship because they have Sri Ard Granth Sahib Ji. Sri Ard Granth Sahib Ji is Guru Granth Sahib Ji that was compiled during the time of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Right? So there was more Bani added to Guru Granth Sahib Ji obviously afterwards, but at this time there was Sri Ard Granth Sahib Ji. So what happens is, Makkhan Shah, he meets Tirmal and he's thinking to himself, if this person really is the Guru, then they know everything. Then they know how much I owe the Guru because of my Ardaas. So he gets 2 coins, not the 500 that he owes, he gets 2 coins. He puts them in front of Tirmal. Tirmal snaps them up, says, thank you very much. Yes, I am the Guru. And Makkhan Shah's thinking, man, no, you're not. I know you're not, because you don't know about my Ardaas. So Makkhan Shah starts to test all of these people, going around Bakala, testing all these people, sometimes putting 1 coin, sometimes putting 2 coins. They all snap them up. He goes through everyone, he begins to give up. He's like, I don't think the Guru's here. He gives up. Instead of going on and carrying on, Makkhan Shah says, I'm going to stop food, I'm going to stop water, and I'm not even going to sleep until I find my Guru. Why? Because I made a promise in my Ardaas. So Makkhan Shah Lubana, get this, they're willing to die before breaking a promise to their Guru that they made in an Ardaas. That's how seriously they took their Ardaas, right? They'd rather die than break a promise. So now what happens is, they meet someone who says there's one person that you haven't met yet. They're one person. They don't really come out. They don't really leave their home. They keep themselves to themselves. And all we know about them is that they spend all their time meditating. That's all they do. Makkhan Shah is thinking, okay, I could be onto something here, because that sounds like something the Guru would do. The Guru's not concerned about being famous or being well known. The Guru's only concerned about Naam, about meditating. So he meets Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And again, he tries to test Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Puts 2 coins. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji says, you've put 2 coins here, you're 498 short. Makkhan Shah runs to the rooftops now. He says, Guru Lado re, Guru Lado. That I found the Guru. This is the Guru. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is the true Guru. They knew how much was in my Ardaas. Not only that, but Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji actually showed Makkhan Shah their shoulder. There's a massive bruise on Maharaj's own shoulder. And they said, this is the shoulder that I lifted your whole ship with and put you back on the right path. Right? So Makkhan Shah has found the Guru. You would think this is happy days, right? But quite the opposite. A lot of fighting now breaks out. Dhirmal is very unhappy with this, that people have found the true Guru. Dhirmal isn't worried about meditation. They're not worried about God. All they're worried about is the fame, the money, the power that comes with being on Guru Nanak Dev Ji's throne. That's all they're thinking, right? So Dhirmal, they actually send someone to fight with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, to assassinate Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Right? Imagine that. Dhirmal is the nephew of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. So they're sending someone to kill their own Chacha Ji. That's crazy, right? We think we got family problems. These guys are shooting each other, right? This is crazy. So a big commotion breaks out. You've got Shihan Masand was sent by Dhirmal to assassinate Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. So you've got Shihan Masand and all of their army, their soldiers, you can say, fighting against Makkhan Shah's army. Loads of fighting breaks out. So much fighting breaks out, a bullet is fired towards Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji they don't want any part of this fighting at all. They're actually on a rooftop. A bullet is fired at Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, comes straight towards Maharaj and just grazes their forehead. Just enough to break their skin. And all this blood starts coming out of their forehead. But they don't get angry. They still don't enter the battle. They know what's going to happen. They're completely separate. They're completely calm. Next, Shihan Masand's men actually rob Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's house. They break in, start taking all their possessions. All the gold that Makkhan Shah gave them, those 500 coins, have all been stolen now. Again, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji does nothing. They're like, fine, let them take it. But Makkhan Shah, they have a very different thought process. They get all their guys again and go and attack Dhirmal now to get all the stuff back. Not only do they rob back all the coins, not only do they rob back all the possessions, but they actually take Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They bring it back to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and they say, look what we've got. Now Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they're looking at Makkhan Shah. They say, give it all back. Give it all, but this isn't our way. We're not thieves, right? If they took it, let them take it, but we're not going to stoop to that level, right? It's not an eye for an eye. It doesn't always have to be an eye for an eye. So they make Makkhan Shah give it back. And again in Slok Malanava, Mara says, Ustata Nindya Nahi Jehe, Kanchan Aloha Saman. So they're talking about someone who sees praise and slander. Imagine that. Someone who says you're great and someone who cusses you as the same. Sounds weird, right? Imagine when you find out someone slandered you. Might be someone said something behind your back, right? Gets us like pumped, gets us a bit annoyed, right? And we have to kind of bite our tongue sometimes not to react. But imagine if someone does your ustat. Someone says you're great. You're so good at this, right? We don't sort of think twice about that. We start thinking, okay, yeah, maybe I am kind of thing. But who here can really say that they put both things aside? Whenever someone slanders them, that they put it aside. They don't care about that. If someone says you're great, I don't care about that either. Maharaj says someone who looks at gold and iron with the same eye, like they're alike. They're not worried about gold, they're not worried about iron. That person is mukt. Maharaj says, Kahu Nanak sun re mana mukt tahe te jaan. Understand that person to be liberated. They're not concerned with the world. They've completed this journey to WhyGuru Ji. Right? They're not worried about who says something to them, who doesn't say something to them. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they weren't worried about who was jealous, who stole from them. The only thing they were worried about was the Ardaas of their Sikh. That's the only thing they were worried about. Makkhan Shah Lubana's Ardaas. That's it. Everything else they didn't care about. Now, this is quite interesting because Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they didn't pick up the sword at this time. They could have easily. I mean, they fought a battle at 13, right? So later on in life, it would have been no problem for them to go into battle now. But they didn't. And I feel like this is so significant because it's like Guruji's teaching us that there's always different ways. You know, it's like Guru Arjan Dev Ji, our fifth Guru, they knew it was the will of the One to go through what they went through, right? When they sat on the hot plate, when they had that hot sand poured on them with all boils on their body, right? They could have easily done something about it, but they didn't. They knew that was the will of the One. And then Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, the sixth Guru, straight after, they pick up the sword. They fight. So there's always this sort of balance between the two. But picking up the sword is always the last resort. Right? And I feel like that's a really key message for us, especially as Sikhs. A lot of us are learning how to fight, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of people here go to an Akhada, learning how to use Shastar, right? But it's not always the answer. There's one thing to know how to fight, and if you speak to someone who knows how to fight, a lot of the time they don't want to fight. Yeah, they know what they're capable of. That's why they don't want to do it. It's like the example of Guru Har Rai Ji. Guru Har Rai Ji had an army of thousands of cavalry with them all the time. But they never wanted to use it. It was just there, just in case they needed it to protect themselves and to protect others. So I feel like that's what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is kind of showing us here. So later on in life, there comes a time where Emperor Aurangzeb, they're trying to convert everyone in India to Islam. So the things they're doing is they're getting cow's blood, right? And they're spilling it in the Hindu mandirs, right? Imagine, these people, they worship cows. They're killing these cows and spilling all the blood in their mandirs, their places of worship. Not only that, they knock down the mandirs and then use the rubble to build mosques, right? Look how disrespectful that is. It's so bad. So now Emperor Aurangzeb, what they think to themselves is instead of trying to convert the whole country all at once, they're just going to aim for the leaders of the Hindu faith, right? So we'll call them the Brahmins. So these Brahmins have 6 months to come up with an answer. They're either going to convert to Islam or they're going to die. That's it. That's the choice they've got. Now, if they convert, all of the others, imagine, you've got the head. If you can convert, it's like converting the king. If you can convert the king, the followers are all going to do the same. So this is what's going on in Emperor Aurangzeb's mind. That I'll convert these Brahmins, sorry. So they come to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and they do an Ardaas. They say, Maharaj, we've got nowhere else to go. But we've heard that Guru Nanak Dev Ji's seat is so great that they'll help anyone. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they turn to their son, Guru Gobind Rai Ji. Their son's only about 9 years old at this time. They say to their son, if someone helps them, if someone helps these Hindus, great sacrifice is going to have to be made. Right? And Guru Gobind Rai Ji, at such a young age, they look at their father and they say, who better than you to make the sacrifice, father? You're the Guru of the Sikhs, you're the Guru of the world, you're Jagat Guru, you're here for everyone. Who better than you to give your life? Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they speak back to their son, they say, don't you understand? Don't you understand that if I give my life, then you're going to be without a father? Don't you realize that if I give my life, your mother's going to become a widow? Like that's a sad situation, right? Guru Gobind Rai Ji, they say no. They say it's better. They say it's better that I'm an orphan, that I lose my father. And it's better that my one mother becomes a widow. It's better that we lose our father instead of everyone, hundreds of thousands of people losing their fathers, hundreds of thousands of people losing their husbands. Let us lose ours so others can't lose theirs. This is the sort of thinking, imagine, of our Guru. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they agree to protect the Brahmins, the Hindu faith. Imagine, this is the seat of Guru Nanak. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they said, we won't wear a janeo. A janeo is what the Hindus wear as a holy string across their body. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, this janeo, we won't wear it. They didn't necessarily cuss it, but they just said, we won't wear it. It's not for us. The same seat of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji now, in their ninth form, is willing to give their life for that same janeo. Right? It's amazing when you think about it like that. They're willing to die for someone else's faith, even though they don't necessarily agree with it. Right? But they're not hurting anyone. That's their faith. There's a level of respect that these people are allowed to do what they do with freedom. They shouldn't be oppressed. So this isn't about hating religions. This is about being against oppression. Right? And that's what Sikhs, that's what we stand for. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they go. They meet Aurangzeb. They say to Aurangzeb that, look, I'm the sole representative of all of the Hindus in this country. Me, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, one person. If you can convert me, then everyone's agreed to convert. Emperor Aurangzeb gets really happy. They're like, wow, there I was thinking, how am I going to convert millions of people? Then I thought I'll just convert their leaders. And now I've just got one person. All I've got to do is convert one person. This is easy now, he's thinking. So they try and persuade Maharaj in many different ways. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji refused every time. They say, you cannot force people to convert to your version of Islam. This is not true Islam. This is not the true religion. This is not the right way of going about things. So that's why Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji end up in prison. All right, so it comes full circle now where we started this talk. And this is where Guru Maharaj, they send those letters that formed Guru Slok Malanava back to the Sikhs in Anandpur Sahib. So when they send these letters, remember, this is the last communication they're going to have with their family. So I want you guys to think, if you could send like one last message, let's just say it's a text message, one last message to your loved ones. That's it, one message. What might you say? What might you say? You might start with the most important thing for that person to know, right? The beginning of that message is so important. You wouldn't worry about anything that's not that important. You just go straight in with the most important thing. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they do exactly that. They say, Guna Govinda gayo nahi, janama akara thakin. They say to their loved ones that if you don't sing the praises of Gobind, if you don't sing the praises of God, if you don't sing the praises of Guru, your whole life, your whole janam, akara takin, understand it to be useless, your whole life. Right? Remember I say Maharaj says it straight, yeah? This is it. They're just saying, if you don't meditate, Maharaj is saying, so if you don't sing Kirtan, if you don't read Bani, listen to Bani, right? If you don't meditate, they're saying your whole life is a waste. So on the flip side, Maharaj is actually telling us the meaning of life. They're saying we're here to actually meditate. That's why we're here, right? Then they say, Kaho Nanaka hara pajmana jehe beda jal komin. They're saying, says the Light of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, meditate. Remember WhyGuru Ji in everything you do. Whether you're at work, going about your day, whether you're at home, wherever you are, remember the one like a fish remembers water. Fish cannot live without water. They're always thinking about water. And that's what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, that's the level that they're trying to get us to be at. That we can't live without WhyGuru Ji. That we can't go about our day without thinking about WhyGuru Ji. Right? That's all they're trying to do. So the Mughals now, they get frustrated and they're thinking of ways to convert Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, to persuade them. So now they try and attack Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's children. Who are Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's children? They're Sikhs. Right? They're Guru Sikhs. We are all Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's children. So what they do is, they get by the Allah Ji and they burn them alive in a boiling pot of water. Imagine the pain. That's not a quick death. Imagine the pain being killed by boiling water. Then it was by Mati Das Ji. By Mati Das Ji, they said, we're going to saw you in half. From head to toe, right down the middle of your body, we're going to saw you in half. By Mati Das Ji, just before they're about to give Shahidi, just before they're about to give their life, they do an Ardaas to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Imagine, one last request before you leave this world. You know you're going to be sawn in half from head to toe, and they got one last request. Someone like me would have said, make this painless, make this go quickly, or get me out of here, right? I don't want to die, kind of thing. But not by Mati Das Ji. By Mati Das Ji, they say, Maharaj, I want to complete a Japji Sahib. Just one last time. I just want to meditate one last time. Just let me finish Japji Sahib. But these guys, they're going to go so fast that I'm going to die. I'm going to leave my body before I can end Japji Sahib. That's all Bhai Mati Das Ji's worrying about. Imagine you've got this massive saw. You're going to be sawn in half. And all he's worried about is completing their Japji Sahib. That's it. So they say that to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji blesses Bhai Mati Das Ji. They listen to their Ardaas and they bless Bhai Mati Das Ji. They say, as long as you don't finish your Japji Sahib, whatever happens to your body, you're going to stay alive. It doesn't matter. You finish your Japji Sahib. So they start. As they start the Mool Mantar, the saw starts back and forward. Back and forward. They do their Mool Mantar. As the saw goes down, cuts through their whole body, Japji Sahib is coming out of both halves of Bhai Mati Das Ji's body. Imagine that. You've got a left side and a right side. Japji Sahib's coming from both of them. He hasn't left his body yet he's in half. How amazing is that? When they get to the end of Japji Sahib, then they leave their body. Not before them. Now the Mughals are thinking that we've burnt someone alive, we boiled someone alive. We've cut someone in half, and it's still not getting to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Right? They still won't give up their faith. They still won't give up their God. Now they think of an even worse way to kill someone. By Sati Das Ji, they're wrapped in cotton and oil is poured over them. Right? They're going to be burnt alive by Sati Das Ji. By Sati Das Ji, just while they're wrapped up, before they're going to get set alight and burnt alive, they look at Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they do an Ardaas as well. They say, Maharaj, I've got an Ardaas. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji says, what is your Ardaas? What is it? What are you worried about now? Again, imagine, Sangatji, when we touch something hot, how quickly do we take our hand away from it? Right? We can't bear that pain of heat for even 1 second. Right? It hurts. Here's Bhai Sati Das Ji, and all they're worried about, imagine they're going to get burnt alive. Their whole body is now going to be burnt. All they're worried about is seeing Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They say, Maharaj, my only Ardaas is that I'm facing you when they set me on fire. Let them kill me. I don't care about my body burning. I don't care about giving my life, but I do care about not seeing you anymore. I want the last thing these eyes see, excuse me, to be you, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they grant that Ardaas. They say, fine. By Sati Das Ji, looking at Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they give their shahidi. Right? They give their life. So remember, this isn't the Guru, this is the Guru's Sikhs. This is their Guru Sikhs. Imagine they're doing this. Right? How amazing is that? So now it comes back to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And the Mughals are getting so frustrated, they say to Maharaj, look, we'll give you 3 choices. Either you convert, either you die, or we'll let you go if you do a miracle. Right? So they've got 3 choices now. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji says, I'm not going to do a miracle, and I'm not going to convert to Islam. You can't force me, but I'll give my life. I'll give my life for these Hindus, and when I do, you got to leave them alone. You can't force them to convert. It's going to fill them with bravery. That someone from a different faith died to protect them. So remember, this all stemmed from Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji listening to an Ardaas. Right? An Ardaas was done. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji took it so seriously, they weren't willing to break that promise done after an Ardaas. So you got Makkhan Shah Lubana. They took their Ardaas so seriously that whatever was said in the Ardaas, they didn't want to break it. Now you got Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. What was said after an Ardaas was done? They made a promise to these Brahmins that I'll protect you. And they're not going to break that promise because it was made on an Ardaas. Now, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they start making demands on the Mughals. The Mughals say, we're going to behead you. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji says, when you behead me, make sure the executioner is strong. I want your strongest guy to do it. Imagine saying that. They say, not only that, I want him to have the sharpest sword. No blunt sword. Give him the best sword you can give him. Thirdly, Maharaj says, I want that sword wrapped in paper. Wrap the whole blade from hilt to tip in paper. Then strike only when I lower my head. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they do Japji Sahib for the final time. And after they do their salok of Japji Sahib, they lower the head. The executioner brings down the sword. And to their amazement, the paper isn't cut. Imagine you got such a sharp sword, but it didn't even cut through paper. Now what this means is that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they gave their head themselves. They done it themselves. Right? It wasn't on someone else's term. The sword didn't cut Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji gave their own head. Remember, this is the leader of one faith giving their life for another faith. It's never been done before. All because of an Ardaas. So now just to finish up, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, they say, Sab thai hoye sahai. That may they always be with us. May Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji always be with us. May the first 8 Gurus, may they always be with us. So I just wanted to take a clip. This is a screenshot of a video that went viral not so long ago. And this this Muslim brother here, they're praying outside on their prayer mat. What happens is it starts to rain. Not only does it start to rain, but hailstones start coming down. So what happens? A Sikh gets out of their car and they take an umbrella and they actually cover the Muslim brother from the rain. They protect him from the hailstones. Right? It's so beautiful. They waited there for ages until the Muslim brother's prayers were finished. And I was like, look at that. When I hear Sab Thai Hoi Sahai, it's like, this is what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would have done. I imagine Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would have saw this and gotten so happy that their Sikh, their own child, had no enmity to any religion, that they got happy when people were meditating on the one. So they wanted to protect that. They didn't want the rain to disturb them. Right? It's so beautiful. And I feel like this is the way that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's qualities, those no-nid, live within their Guru Sikhs today. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they were there, right? In the middle of the ocean for Makkhan Shah. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they were there for the Brahmins, the Hindus, to protect them, right? And they're going to be there for their Sikhs as well. Even if they're boiled alive, even if they're burnt alive, even if they're sawn in half, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is going to be there. And as long as we do an Ardaas, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is going to be with us as well. So if we think about it, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they came to this earth because of an Ardaas. Right? By Ardaas Ji, they say, Suni Bakala Datar Prabha Guru Nanak Jagmai Bathaya. That Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they were sent to this world because of an Bakar, because the world was crying out. The whole world was doing an Ardaas, saying we need a savior. No one knows about God, no one knows about Naam. We need someone to teach us. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji came because of an Ardaas. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they left this world because of an Ardaas. Right? How beautiful is that? And now over the coming weeks, we're going to celebrate Vaisakhi, the birth of the Khalsa. So right from Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time, they came because of an Ardaas, and now the Khalsa is here all because of an Ardaas. It's the power of this Ardaas that we do. So I'm going to end it there, Sangat Ji. We've come to the end. Has anyone got any questions before we wrap up? Before we sing some Kirtan. Guna Govind Gayo Nahi, Janama Karat Keen. I don't think we need to remind anyone to stay for the Kirtan today after that. Okay, if no one's got any questions, we'll finish off with some Kirtan. Please forgive me for the mistakes I've made. And let's finish off with a Fateh Sangat Ji. WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh.
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह वाहिगुरु 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru,